Howdy, friends. It's Steve Depoe here with the Rose Realty team with this week's real estate vlog for North Texas. Today, how does Denton's public school systems rank going into 2026? So you might be wondering how strong are Denton County public schools as we're going into 2026. If you're selling your home here, or maybe you're actually somebody from the outside who outside of Denton County who's moving in, it's still a big question that matters. And almost every buyer right now with children or thinking about having children is interested in right now. So if you've got that question on your mind, you're in the right place. Before we get going, hey, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/at moving to Dallas, Texas. There you'll get to see all of our vlogs that we've done in the past. We also have a new segment called Texas Real Estate Answers. They've got we try to answer questions about taxes and about can you sell your strange questions like can you sell your home with a mortgage on it, or what are contingencies, or is it better for me to get a 1031 or a DST. Those are investment terms. And you'll have access to all of these videos. It's really great. You'll become the smartest person in your neighborhood in terms of real estate, which could be a blessing or a curse. And if you get too bogged down with questions about real estate, send them over to me. I'll be glad to take care of them for you. So, like, hey, let's talk about the range of performance levels within inside of Denton County. So, several public school systems inside of Denton, Argyle, Canyon Falls, are rated A. I mean, they're really good schools. Argyle's been a top school for wow a long time. Okay, as long as we've been here in Texas, Argyle has been a top rated school. Northwest ISD is not only rated high in terms of academics, but their sports and athletics are actually rated very high too, if that matters to you. So, Northwest ISD um, area where you would go to one of those, send your children to one of those schools preferable. And then Denton, of course, is moving up. They're right now rated in the most of the schools are rated at least in the B range. Some of them in the C, but the important thing is they are moving up and they are making the government and the administration is actually making a difference to bring those schools up. Partly because we've got so many people. Denton is the fastest growing county in the state of Texas, if you can believe that. And so it's important for people coming in or people who are selling to have good school systems. And Denton is making a lot of big steps and big improvements over the last couple of years. Individual schools matter as much as district rankings. So whether you know it or not, the school system for a particular town or a particular community, like Louisville, it's Louisville ISD, it's Denton ISD, for example, and so the independent school districts. Take the overall school system in that particular county or in that particular ISD. However, what's actually slightly more important is what the school ranking of different campuses is, and then because you might be number one, you might be living by that school system, that school, which is great. And number two, one of the things they have here in Denton is you're able to take your child and enroll him in, let's say you live in Louisville and you want to send your kid you want to send your kid to Argyle. You can do that. You can apply. You have to apply on a yearly basis, but you can send your child to Argyle. So the individual school system is as important as the individual schools all themselves. So, for an example, Geyer or Fred Moore are very highly rated schools inside of the Denton ISD. Campuses that have gotten mixed reviews are Ray Braswell and Denton Younger, for example. And one of the things that they kind of claim that kind of brings their ranking down just a little bit is their diversity, which to me means that what we probably have in there is a overabundance of children where English is a second language, and that kind of brings down the ranking of that particular school because of the hurdles that have to be overcome in order to accommodate people that was English isn't their primary language. If you go to niche.com, they have a system where they rank schools on their own. Well, it's not really on their own. They get input from families and people who have gone to different school systems. Okay, and it's not just state rankings and testing and that kind of stuff. They kind of poll the studio audience, if you will, and they let you know that they help niche.com determine what the ranking for that particular school system is. So Denton ISD has an overall solid ranking, solid rating. Okay, they like the fact that they are diverse, and the curriculum, etc., that they teach is well thought of by the people who send their children there. Okay, reviews of the data isn't actually place it ahead of many other in niche.com. Denton school systems are actually placed ahead of many other school districts in the state of Texas, which, if you refer back to a slide or two ago, they've made significant improvements because a lot of people are moving to this area, and so they have to do that. They have to improve the school system. Otherwise, people they're just not gonna, not just gonna come here. That's valuable intel when people are considering buying your home or comparing neighborhoods. And like I said, one of the things that we'll do is we'll do a thorough analysis to say what the school system is in Argyle or Northwest or Denton or what have you, and we'll put together a solid report so that we can hand out that. We'll probably also post it on MLS for you, so that people will know what the school system is like, and what they can expect from that school system for their children. Uh, these rankings or ratings actually are important for the sale of your home. So as buyers demand this information about the school system, we've got to have it available to us, and we don't want them going to some obscure website, or seeing all the negative things people may have posted or whatnot. We want these rankings to be analyzed. We want them to understand what they mean and how the schools in that particular community, compare to others, right? Not just the cool school system, like I mentioned before, not just the school system itself, but the individual campuses as well in neighborhoods. Okay, those are important, and also a good ranking in terms of the school system or the campus itself signals progress and stability. So you don't want to necessarily. So as an example, I think I mentioned Capel, right? Capel is a great area. I'd buy a house there in a second. But at the same time, what people have to consider is that as Capel struggles with what they're going to do with their empty or vacant schools, that's also a tax burden on people, where their property taxes in Capel could start to rise. They've had the same thing going on in Grapevine, if I'm not mistaken, and so and until the households until the households turn over and there's kids around again. Some of the older communities, school systems could, like I said, kind of become a tax burden on a home buyer. And then how to talk to buyers about the rankings. So we want to share clear and transparent about the info of the school. We want to highlight recent improvements, and we want to interpret these results and what they mean. Here's the truth of the matter. Okay, it's like a leaky roof. Okay. If you don't share the fact that you got a leaky roof in your disclosure, then you're gonna have a home inspection. The buyer's inspector is gonna find out that you got a leaky roof, and then you're gonna have to take care of it or explain it away. Okay. Same thing with the school system. As people start to say, "Hey, I like this house, I like this house in this area. What are the school systems like?" Okay, we want to be transparent and upfront with them about what the school system is like. If it's a positive, okay, if it's like an A or A plus rated school, that's great. It's going to be a magnet. If it's if it's like a B, if it's like a B or B plus, then it's not going to be quite as attractive. But we're going to share with them the fact that the rankings or the ratings have increased, over the last 5 years or something like that. Which then again goes back to talking about stability in terms of the community and the school system. So far as Denton School's landscape is strong and improving overall and over the last 5 to 10 years. That's a valuable point when you're positioning and selling your home. Second, buyers care about the specific campuses that they're going to be living by or potentially sending their children to, and not necessarily as much as the overall school independent school district, but that's important as well. Okay, so don't get me wrong. It's not that they don't care about the ISD. They do, but the one that's closer to them that they're going to be sending their kids to that campus is actually more important to them because it's more of a finite or an exact rating because that's where their kids can end up going to. Next week, we're going to talk about, we're talking about a lot of rental property stuff lately. We'll talk about best exit strategy for long-held rental properties. This is a good one. Don't miss it. This is Steve Depoe. I am with the Rose Realty team. Until next time.